All right. All right, so we'll do the first part on Perek Alef. All right, so we finished Perek Yud. Perek Yud was on the second crowning of King Shaul. The first crowning was done in private, in hiding. Only Shmuel and Shaul were present. The second crowning was done in public, in front of the whole nation. But we thought that at the end of the ceremony, despite the fact that Shaul was chosen in a lottery, and then afterwards Shaul insisted that we would ask the Tumim to make sure that he is really chosen by Hashem. At the end of the ceremony, there is a part of the people that it says that Hashem didn't touch their heart, that they're not respectful of Shaul, and what they said was, is really this one going to save us? And Shaul heard that, and he chose not to respond. The strategic choice to not make a fuss as soon as he became king, and to first establish himself as a king before he would demand the respect of the nations. On the other hand, it is held against him that he didn't withhold the status of the king in high enough regard, out of his respect for the nation. So he respected the nation too much, and they didn't respect him enough. So it was not about him, it was about his position, and was held against him. On the other hand, to have the ability to let go of what people are telling you that is negative about you is very, very praiseworthy. But people need to be able to make the difference. When is it that you shouldn't take it personally and you should just let go? And when is it that it's an offense to who you are? An example would be anti-Semitism. To draw the line, when is it an offense to you as a Jew in general? It's not about me as a person and I just want to have a quiet life and I'm not going to make a problem about it. It's about me as a Jew. I represent the Jewish people and something is being done to me. We spoke about having strong opinions and not strong attitudes. Or as a mother, when you're being disrespected as a mother and you don't want to make a fight with your kid, like we pick our fights, but some things cannot be just let go of. So either way, here there is a difference of view of if Shaul had the right attitude or not. Thankfully, Hashem is going to set up a scene for Shaul to prove himself, to show the whole nation that he is extremely capable of being the king. And this brings us straight away into Perek Yud Alef. Perek Yud Alef, we have an enemy that comes to attack the Jewish people, as if the Jewish people doesn't have a leader that any other king should be scared of. Like that person that comes to attack the Jewish people is like completely unfazed that the Jewish people have a new king, and that he might lead them to war. So the person that comes to attack is one of the strongest impurities, evil forces that exist. We say there are two nations that are not allowed to come into the Jewish nation, that are not allowed to convert into the Jewish nation. It's the Ammonim and the Moabim. Ammon and Moab, they're the two they're the two nations that it said that they're not, even if they convert, they're not allowed to, they're not going to be accepted as Jews. So we see here, so the Moab, we have a story about the nation of Moab. The king of Moab, his name was Eglon. And here we have the king of Ammon, and his name is Nachash. If we look at the name of the kings, Nachash and Eglon, they both refer to two very strong impure entities in the world. The first one, the Eglon Melech Moab, the king of Moab, his name is Eglon. Eglon, the word Eglon in Hebrew would remind me of another word that is associated with a sin.
Egel.
The Egel, the Cheta Egel, the golden calf. So he represents a sin, a level of sin. The king of Moab represents a level of a sin that is something that is in a way exterior to the Jewish, superficial to the Jewish people. In what way? In the sense that the golden calf was done the Jewish people were punished. The golden calf was done because of the Erev Rav that joined, and the Jewish people were punished, and then they were forgiven. On the other hand, the Nachash, the king of Ammon, Nachash represents the snake. The snake represents the original sin. So the power of the Nachash is much stronger than the power of the Egel. The power of the sin of the Nachash and of the Egel, the power of the Nachash is much stronger. So here we see that Nachash, the king of Ammon, that comes to attack the Jewish people, is a very strong force of impurity that comes to attack the Jewish people as soon as Shaul becomes their king. So when Shaul became king, we saw that he had the Nevuah of Hashem, he had the spirit of Hashem that came to rest upon him, and right away the two Maris coming to attack. So the Nachash, the king of Ammon, we're going to read the story superficially, and then we're going to see the deeper level of it. I think we're going to have time only for the first part, but maybe we'll see how we progress. All right, so Pasuk Alef, Vayal Nachash Ammoni, the king Nachash of Ammon went up, Vayichan al Yavesh Gilad, and he camped on to the city of Yavesh Gilad. It's one of the cities in the territory of Binyamin. Vayamru kol anshe Yavesh Gilad el Nachash. And the people of Yavesh Gilad said to Nachash, Krat lanu brit, make a covenant with us, v'navdecha, and we'll serve you. Already strange. We'll continue. Vayomer elehem Nachash Ammoni. Sorry, we'll not continue. So what happens here? The king of Ammon, Nachash Ammoni, he comes to the city of Yavesh Gilad and he says, I'm going to make a siege around your city, and this way we'll make a war and I'll win you. So the people of Yavesh Gilad, they see that he's coming around their city, say, oh, he's going to make a siege, he's going to starve us, he's going to weaken us, then he's going to fight us, and then he will win. So why go through the whole process? We're going to surrender right away. So they go to him, they send him messengers, and they tell him, you know what, we're going to surrender. Let's not make the whole thing. We'll surrender, and we'll be your servants. We'll work for you. We'll be your slaves. That's what used to be when you would come to another nation. They would become your dependents.
They were friends, basically.
They were not
Friends.
They were friends. Yes. Like, let's not make a war. We'll just surrender. They did fight. They lost. So that's why they surrendered. All right. So we would assume that the king of Ammon is thrilled. He's sparing himself an entire few weeks of war.
Did he think maybe it was like a trick? Like, so could it be so easy?
So let's see. Number one, it's very shameful for an army to surrender without even fighting.
Right.
An army is supposed, by nature, by definition, an army is supposed to fight for their honor. Mm-hmm. We're not just giving up on our status. You don't give up without a fight. You have to fight, and then if you lose, but you don't just give up. So already it shows on the state of mind of the Jewish people that they feel like there's no one who's going to help you. No one's going to help us. We have no solution here. The only solution is to surrender, because for sure we're going to lose. So normally we would assume that Nachash will be thrilled with the offer and he will just say, yeah, okay, great. So done deal. But no, Pasuk base. Vayomer elem Nachash Ammoni. Nachash Ammoni answers them. Bezot echot lachem. With this condition, I will make a covenant with you. Binikor lachem kol en yamin. If you would gouge your right eye. V'samtia cherpa al kol Israel, and this will be a shame on all Am Yisrael.
Like take out one of the eyeballs?
If you want to make a covenant, each man. If you want to make a covenant with me and become my servants, it's not enough that you just commit to become my servants. You each have to take out one eye out of your body. Each male is supposed to gouge out one eye, and then only after you did that, you can be my slaves. Nobody Israel like, whoa. Like we did this
like another level of piercing the ear.
That was not part of the deal. So what is the rationale here that he tells them to take out one eye? Very, very. So there are two explanations that are very simple level. Number one, how low did you come that you give up without fighting? Is that really? You're that desperate, that you're that out of hope and out of faith in your ability to fight?
But doesn't it make sense after they had so many people killed in the wars before?
But afterwards, they had another war in Kazakhstan
were
that they won. So like, why do you give up without even trying? Why, what's your logic? Where's your morale?
Right.
So number one, he tells them, you are on such a low ethic that you don't even fight for your life and for your independence. It should be known that you're like below human. You don't even deserve two eyes. We're gonna we should have an obvious sign as soon as we see you. You are those low lives people who don't even fight for their independence. Because to be a slave in the ancient world was a situation where you could never leave that status. There was no such a thing as redeeming a slave. Only in the Torah we have for the Jewish slave. But there was no such a thing. They even had laws. If a slave runs away, what do we do with a slave that runs away? That was like considered the worst thing that could, the worst thing that could happen.
Most dishonorable thing.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. So, so number one, as a humiliation, you will be humiliated forever that you're missing an eye. Number two, and that's very interesting. I will do the exercise with Rusty. Do we know why do we have two eyes? Why do we need two eyes? Do we know?
To look kindly with one eye and more severely with the other one.
I'm thinking of the kids' book, what's that book all about me, like you have eyes, like straight up.
Right, correct.
But why two?
But technically, so that is the Hasidus reason. Biologically, why do we need two eyes?
To see peripherally.
To see around,
Yeah.
to see other side. Okay. Rusty, you're gonna be my exercise person, if you don't mind. I'll take a cup. Can you pass me the picture, please? Thank you so much. Rusty, I'm gonna ask you to cover one eye, please. All right. And I'm gonna pour myself a cup of water and you tell me when to stop. You have to cover properly. Yeah? You're good?
Yeah, okay.
Cover one eye. I have my cup. You see it? I have my water. You see it?
Mhm.
All right. You tell me when to stop. Am I good?
When, I'll just tell you when the picture. of
Yeah.
the-
When can I pour? Well, sorry. When can I pour the water into the cup?
Okay,
Should I move my pitcher?
keep going.
Good. Okay.
I'm scared when you still on the stairs.
No, don't worry. Should I move right or left?
Just keep going straight.
Straight?
Look back up and drop. No, not high, lower. Closer to the cup.
Oh, like this?
Yeah, perfect.
Can I pour?
You can pour. I think.
Thank you.
I think, oh my gosh, wow. Okay.
Is it good?
Oh,
right.
it gives you depth.
You see that? I learned that in seminary.
That is interesting. Like, it's like wrong with my eyes.
Is that right?
Wow.
I was 18 years old in a class of.
Sitting far from you? Is that-
No, it's not because you're sitting far, it's because you are, why did I ask you? Because you're sitting far. If you're too close,
You could
then
see
you
it.
don't, yeah, you would see it. I was in a class of 40 girls, all 18 years old, all like more or less educated. And we're going to a school in Israel where they are learning, they're like a charter school for science and for learning through the five senses. And the principal gave us a class and she did that exercise. So she asked, why do we need to have two eyes? And the entire class had one eye to see the good, one eye to see the bad. She was like, oh, that's so cute. Is there another reason? We're like, nope. And then she did that. So when I learned this, I was like, oh, that's why. Like you can see depth. So then you can't have any archers. You can't have anyone aiming at you. So for war, none of the men can fight ever again because they can see depth. So they'll never know how to fight
Okay, interesting.
strategically. Another reason is that the Enyamin, the right eye, is the right eye of a Jew is the Torah. That is what we consider as precious to us as our right eye. And he said, oh, you want to make a covenant with me? But you know what? I have an issue with you as a people. Is that in your Torah, it says that an Ammoni, a person from my nation, cannot convert and be accepted as a Jew. So I have an issue with your Torah and its essence. So if you want to come and become my slaves, you have to give up on your Torah. You have to burn it. Any Torah that you have in your city, you have to burn it. To that they say, oh, sorry, like that's not part of our deal. You answered?
Why did those two nations have like that stronger, like that they could never convert or whatever?
All right, good question. Two reasons. Number one is that there are, it's not in order of importance. Ammon and Moab, they're both the children of the daughters of Lot. So that's number one. Do you know the story of the daughters of Lot? So the daughters of Lot, after Sodom was destroyed, the daughters and Lot's wife was killed in the
Right.
process. The daughters of Lot and Lot, they escaped, and they thought that
They were
the
gonna
entire
escape.
world was destroyed and that they were the only survivors. So they said, we have to ensure the continuity of humanity. So they had a union with their father, and they each had a child. So in the name Moab, from the father, May-ab. So that's one. And number two, when Bnei Israel were traveling in the desert to go into Eretz Israel, they were very unwelcoming to them. And they were not planning on attacking them because they're not nations of Israel. But they were very unwelcoming to them. They said, we're not going to give you water. We don't want to let you go on our roads. So they were very mean to them. So Hashem said, like, you were mean for no reason. It's not like you had a reason to be mean because you were so cruel. We don't need you in our nation. It's interesting because there are other nations that were mean to us. But here, like, there was like, we didn't even have a status. We were still a wandering tribe in the desert. Like, why do you need to come up with that? So that's how it came. All right, so they said, oh, okay, that we didn't plan to have that condition of the right eye. That's not okay. Let's, they will have another response. So we're in Pasuk Gimel. ויאמרו אליו, זקני יבש גלעד. זקני יבש. The older people of Yavesh, so Yavesh Gilad, they answer him, the elders. הרף לנו 7 ימים, give us a break for 7 days, ונשלחה מלאכים, and we'll send messengers, בכל גבול ישראל, in all the borders of Israel, ואם אין מושיע אותנו, and if no one can save us, ויצאנו אליך, we'll go out towards you. So what do they say? They say, you know what? Now that you say that, maybe we'll fight actually. Maybe we'll organize ourselves and fight. Give us 7 days. Let us try to find help. And in 7 days, if we find help,
Sounds ridiculous.
right? If we find help, then we'll be able to fight you. And if we don't, then we'll surrender. Do you think he's going to agree? The king of Ammon?
I think he will, actually.
Why?
Number one, he clearly wants the fight. Like, he almost like doesn't trust them when they're saying that they're gonna surrender, right? Like, he gives these conditions. No one in their right mind would allow, right? So he's like, okay, like, and I think it's more honorable for him to like win the city through fighting than it is by surrendering, right?
True.
So that's what I think. I think that he will
Very good point.
agree.
Very good points. What type of victory is it to win over people that just like surrender? But on the other hand, it is in a way a victory. It means like, I'm so powerful. People are giving up before they even start. There was another element here, is that the king of Ammon
So
is
why
like,
would he agree to the 7 days? That makes no sense.
right? And why would he? But on the other hand, he's like, you know what? I'll give you any condition you want. You're such losers. You're never going to find anyone to help you. What do I have to lose? I'm going to sound like that super kind and humanitarian king that allows his target to have conditions. And anyways, you lost already before you start.
But why were they such losers? Like, why were they viewed that way? If
They
were
viewed themselves
successful?
that way. So why? Because until now, they didn't have a king that would lead their wars. They had the Navi who would lead their wars when they were attacked as a nation. Here it's on a specific city. So they think to themselves, why would anyone come to defend us? We're just one small city. And this is a lack in their unity or in their perception of the unity. Because they're thinking to themselves, why would they think to themselves that no one will come help them? It's really strange. We know Israel is one big nation. Why would they think that no one is going to come help them and no one is going to care about them? That's really weird.
It's like akin to like somebody saying like, okay, like there's a war in like South Carolina and like none of the other states are gonna come and help.
Yeah, well, it's South Carolina. No one cares.
Right.
Imagine. Yeah. So, but in a way, I'm not going to go into politics. but that's how they viewed the unity of the nation. They said we don't have like the king that we have. So it is assumed by some commentaries that the people of Yavesh Gilad were people who originally were part of those who rejected Shaul. Because here they don't have in their first foresight, oh, we have a king, let's call the king. They have in their mind, they have, oh, we lost. That's it. They're probably thinking, the king we have, there's no way he's gonna help us. So no, there's no way
he
we
was
can be
still
safe.
home, no? Like
He was
Shaul-
still home, yes. So I read about it that actually Shaul considered that if the entire nation didn't accept him as a king, he shouldn't push himself into being the king. So that's why he went back home. Afterwards, we'll see that it will change. So they didn't have a vision of the Jewish people, the people of Yavesh Gilad. They didn't have a vision of the Jewish people as a whole unity. They just saw themselves as like, we're an isolated city and we are in a bad situation and no one is going to help us. That's what they saw. So the king of Ammon, in a way, it was very dismissive of him to say, yeah, take you 7 days. Like, what do I lose? It's like, yeah, I would give an example of teacher and students with me. But like, you want more time, I'll give you more time, you're going to lose anyways. And then, so what do? And the messengers, so the people of Yavesh Gilad, they send messengers, just like they said in Pasuk Gimel, Nishlecha Malachim. So the Malachim come, Givat Shaul, to the hill of Shaul. They go to Shaul straight. The messengers go to Shaul. But they don't speak to Shaul directly. They speak first to the people. They arrive to the place where Shaul lives, and they speak to the people and tell them what happens in their city. And the entire nation started crying. And Shaul comes by. Shaul arrives. He's following the cattle. Mina Sadeh, he's coming back from the field. So Shaul is coming from a perfectly normal working day. He's going after the cattle, like going home at the end of the day. Shaul, and Shaul says, what happened to the nation that they're crying? So they told him what happened to the people of Yavesh Gilad. So it's very interesting that here we see that Shaul comes, but it doesn't say where he comes. And it doesn't say that he hears the people crying. He comes and he asks, why are the people crying? So I read something very interesting that Shaul didn't even see that the people were crying. He felt that the people were crying. Why? Because his neshama, his global neshama, his neshama klalis that he received when he became king, was able to feel the distress of the people. So he didn't even see them, he didn't even hear them, but he knew that they were crying. So he inquired about them. So they told him, this is what happened to the people of Yavesh Gilad. Vatitzlach pasuk vav, vatitzlach ruach Elokim al Shaul, and the spirit of Hashem was successful on Shaul, meaning it rested upon him. Keshom'o et advarim ha'ele, when he heard those words, vayichar apo meod, and he was very angry.
Aren't these the people that didn't accept him as king?
Correct.
So why are they going to him if they don't accept him?
Why are they going to him?
Right.
They don't have a choice. They're being attacked, and the guy wants them to gouge their eye.
So
Or
they
give up the
accept him
Torah.
on some level, they're just not so happy about him.
So originally they thought this guy is not going to be able to lead a war. But now that they're in a situation that they need someone to lead a war and they have nobody to lead them, they're like, what do we have to lose? He was put in the position to lead us anyways. Let's see what he's capable of. We have, like, they were willing to put themselves as slaves without fighting. They have really nothing to lose. So they go to him. They say, let's see what he's going to do.
And they're from, you mentioned that's in the portion of Binyamin. So
Correct.
they're even like like, I don't even understand. Shaul is also in Binyamin.
It is very strange
That
even
the
within
morale
his
is that low.
in his own tribe,
Right.
that they didn't accept him. People from his own tribe. That is very strange. So Shaul got very angry. So what did he do? Vayikach tzemed bakar. He took 2 oxen, vayinatreu, and he cut them. וישלח בכל גבול ישראל ביד המלאכים, and he sent them. So he took 2 oxen and he cut them into pieces. And what he did with these pieces is that he sent a piece to each corner of the country. Beyad malachim, in the hands of the messengers. Limo, and he told them, this is what you will say. You will bring those pieces of meat to different parts of the country, and you will speak to the people, and you will say to them like this: Asher eineno yotze achare Shaul ve'achar Shmuel, ko ye'aseh li vekaro. Whoever does not go out after Shaul and after Shmuel to war, this is what will be done to his cattle. Meaning, I am demanding that everybody joins the war against Ammon to defend the people of Yavesh Gilad. If you don't want to join, I will come to your place and I will kill all your animals. This will be your punishment. And how do you know that I'm in business? Because I was willing to give up on 2 of my own animals to show you that I'm in business. I'm not afraid to lose animals in order to prove my point. So I will do it. If I can do it to my own, I will for sure do it to yours. Vayipol pachad Hashem al ha'am, and the fear of Hashem fell on the people. Vayitzu keish echad, and they went out like one man. So here we have, it's very interesting. Vayipol pachad Hashem al ha'am, the fear of Hashem came on the people. Not the fear of Shaul that came on the people, the fear of Hashem. Because they have the fear of Hashem, that they follow Shaul. Also interesting is that he says, Asher eneno yotze achare Shaul ve'achar Shmuel. You will go to war with Shaul and with Shmuel. Shmuel is joining the war. Shmuel is coming with them at war, but who is the leader of the war now? It's not Shmuel. The previous war, the last war we had in Perek Zayin or Perek Chet, sorry, Shmuel was the one who led the war. Shmuel was the one who brought the korban. Shmuel was the one who told them, go, you can chase the Pelishtim, Hashem gave them into your hands. Here, Shmuel becomes the second when it comes to fighting, because it's the role of the king to go and fight the wars. Can we stop here?
I mean, it looks like a good.
Yeah, a good cut-off point.